Hi guys, welcome back to TT Build. So today we're going to be stripping down the side skirts to get exposure to the sills, check those out and start listing all the faults that we can see. Hopefully it's not too far gone. As we've seen in the video, picking the car up, you can see that the sill lip is all nice and wavy where people have been jacking it up in the wrong place. So we're just going to check that that is actually structurally sound, make sure there's no holes to weld, and if so, we'll re-weld them and get it through an MOT. After looking at the sills, check out the arms and the control arms, trap rod ends, things like that. Make sure they're up to standard. They do look a bit worse for wear, they'll likely get swapped. And then refurb headlights for the MOT because they're looking a bit chalky, a bit misty. And that's it really, just make sure that we can get it through an MOT, get it on the road, then we can start having fun with it. So to begin, I'm going to crack the wheel nuts before we jack it up so the wheels can be removed nice and easy. Take the sill cover off, which is here. Check the inside, underneath. I don't know if you'll be able to see, it's not looking too bright under there. Jacked up under the lower arm, which you want to replace. Now the subframe has got plenty of surface rust. I mean, it doesn't look great, let's be honest. These lower arms have got to be swapped. I'll get a screwdriver out shortly and start poking some things. But on the MOT, we've got CV boots. That one doesn't look too bad, but that one's definitely oily. You can see up there. Also got an oil leak somewhere by the looks of it, which we'll sort out later. So let's move on to the back. Get that jacked up. But the good sign is the jacking point, which I've just jacked up from, is solid. So, a bit of good news so far. Track rod ends and track arms need sorting out too, as you can see there. This is what happens. I mean, the coilovers don't look great either. We'll try and have to look at those, try and clean them up a bit, see if they're still healthy. If not, we're going to need some of those as well. So we've got some more good news as far as good news goes right now. So the car is currently jacked up on the rear subframe, which hasn't gone through, it's holding, so it's got some integrity at least. What do we call it? The suspension cup. It's got a little dent there. It doesn't look the best, to be honest. Shock absorber looks okay. Springs, yeah. How do these CVs look like? Fairly dry, so that one looks alright. Not too bad, although the shaft doesn't look great, does it? Try and clean these up a bit, see how we get on with it. But in the meantime, these brake lines need sorting ASAP. So a few things to point out. This looks really aged and corroded, so they're going to have to be swapped. This one and this one, as well as the lower arm, as we're going to do anyway. As the previous owner told us, new discs and pads are in, so we don't need to worry about those. Next port of call, arch bolts, the lower bolts, and the higher sill bolts, and then we'll clean the wheel well down, start clearing down the sill. So we've got two bolts there to take out, to take it off the wing. Potentially some underneath. And then two at the back. So to get this off, I think I have to take the seal off, which means I'm also going to have to take this plastic off, which I've also got to take that plastic off, which you can't really see very well. But there's a little kick plate there covering the corner and the bonnet catch. So we'll take all that off, see if there's any bolts here, because I'm going to need new seals anyway, because they're absolutely bent. So if I attack the sill to expose the bolts and then take the bolts out and replace them, I think that's the best way to take this off with the seals as intact as I can, so we can get them sorted out. So I've got to get the seals off. So I've got to take these out, get the cover off and have a look underneath it. We've also got a series of bolts holding it in here, which are bound to round off. So much for optimism. But we'll give it a go. Okay, first problem. Rusted old bolts, they're all rounded. Can't get a tool in, so we're going to have to try and hammer and chisel them out, or introduce them to Mr. Grinder. So the bolt is actually sealed on, or corroded on. So I'm going to have to try and grind the head off, I think. going to be a pain in the backside. Before we do that, let's go from the bottom instead. Grind the bottom off. There should be less to turn, and then hopefully we can get it off. I don't want to mark anything. Let's take this off. Every single bolt under there has just rounded. Nightmare. So I'm gonna have to cut round them, pull the skirt off, and then try and get each bolt out. Old cars, guys. Old cars. Just to show you what we've had to do to get the bolts out. I've had to grind in a little line there, if you can see it on the camera, to try and get it into a flathead, because the Torx bolts are just shredding, they're just rounding off. I've got a couple out on the one side, so we haven't had to grind those away, and I've had to completely butcher the sill cover in order to get them off, because it's a pain in the arse with those, the wavy part of the lip on the sill, which was intruding on the sill cover side, wedging it on basically. So I've had to grind around the bolt head so the skirt can come away, and then intricately get these out. And it was a nightmare. So we're getting through it. Not ideal, but so far sills are looking pretty solid, which is good. Let's get cracking.
So we've got the bolt out. It's a bit, what's the word? It's a bit rotten there, a bit soft. I've noticed all of this as well, which is all hard. So I'm going to get the brush on the drill over there. Get rid of this etch primer it, so it's not going to, you know, corrode any further. This sill looks pretty solid, to be fair, apart from wavy bit underneath. So we're getting there. So this side is particularly difficult. My grinder wheels hit the bottom of the sill slightly, so it's took some of the paint away. So I'm going to get a wire brush on that, etch prime that so it protects it against corrosion, give it a lick of silver paint, so when the new sill goes on we know it's not going to rot and turn into more holes. But so far I'm getting there, it's looking pretty good. I'll show you underneath now. Okay, so we've hit this with the wire brush now, so we've exposed the steel and all underneath as well. So we're going to put some rust primer on there to stop the rust, and then etch primer it, and then silver on top. So now we're going to remove the bumper. There are 2 bolts above and below the intercooler. So we're going to remove those and then move over to the other wheel well and remove those, and the bumper should come away following the 4 bolts underneath the bumper as well. Right, so now we've got the bumper off, we need to take a look at power steering pipe under here. There's a leak. I believe the pipe's corroded. We've been getting spots on the ground when it's running, and only when it's running. So under pressure with the pump, it's going to the weak spot, i.e. the hole, and depositing it all over my driveway. So we're going to take that off, find a replacement. I have seen new ones online, but I've also read and heard that they don't fit on the banjo connections, I think they're called. They've got hoops on the ends where you put the crush washers on. Apparently they don't fit, so I'm going to go for a genuine one. As long as it works, we're good. And of course I'll clean it up and repair anything that I can before I put it on. So we're yet to source one of those, so get in the comments if you've got one for sale. And from there, I need to, off the camera, I popped the bottom rad hose off to drain the coolant, because the previous owner said that it was mainly water over coolant, so it's wise to get rid of it. So we have. So I've got to pop the pipe back on so we can put some coolant in it, and then get up to temperature and things like that. Make sure everything's running smoothly once we're back together and ready to go for an MOT. As ever, if you like the content and you want to keep up with the build, please smash the like button. Jump on the comments section for any questions, or if you can help me out with any parts, that'd be great. And hit the subscribe, guys. Cheers.